Yo, what's good everybody? My name is Alckemy. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing and also showing you how to set up the poly and play stuff. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try not to waste your time, but if you can, I would love it if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit that 20k. Also alchemy.com in case if you want resources, and I've even got a sample pack for sale for specifically designed for the poly. Okay. So this is super confusing. It's taken me a long time to figure this out, so I'm going to hopefully streamline this process for you. But the number one thing that you want to do whenever you open up a new channel is a couple of things. Let's go back first. For one, go to your settings and go to fill config. And what this is going to do is it's going to give you these options for your kick, snare, hi-hat, synth, and bass channel. And so what you need to do is you need to set these to a USB channel before you do anything else. Set this up here, set this up. So I've got all the drums set to USB channel 1. I've got my synth to channel 4 and channel 5. It's not really going to matter if you're only using one channel, but if you're trying to do like multi-output things, which I'm still trying to figure out, then there's that. But this will help just do that for me. So now whenever you click on a note on this, what you need to make sure is you're going to actually twist sample, and you'll see that most of the time it's going to be set to jack channel 1. So go ahead and send each of your notes that you want to mess with to a channel, and then you can use the note to say, okay, well now this is going to trigger, as you can see on the computer, what this is supposed to be, right? The thing with this is there's also some settings that you can do within MIDI here. So if you want this to play like your DAW, then you can set clock in or clock out to MIDI USB. And then that's pretty much all you got to do. And once you have that, it should be good to go as far as the poly side. Now for the Bitwig side, what you need to do is you need to go into File here and go into Settings, and you need to create a generic controller so that way this will read the MIDI. The biggest issue or the biggest hangup that I ran into was making sure that this was going onto the sample for the USB channel so that way this can trigger. But thankfully, now that we have this, if I go into this, you can see that I can trigger the MIDI here. And I don't know if this was available in the older updates or not, but this is the first time that I've ever had success with it. So just know that that's kind of one of those things. All right, let's actually talk about the workflow now. As you can see, you can pull up a keyboard if you want to on this, but this pretty much works in the exact same way if you want to use this as a drum sequencer, which can be useful. Now, for me personally, I try to use audio. But as far as like sketching ideas and having some fun or something, then who's to say that you don't do something like this? So what I'll do is I'll just set up a kick snare pattern. So boom, ka, ka, boom, ka. We all know that one, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go on here and I'm going to set this to, I guess, C. And then this will be not the pitch bend, but we'll set this to the proper thing here. There we go. Set that to C and set this one here. So now if we hit play, yay. Now a lot of this stuff applies, obviously the effects don't, but what I do like is that we can hold, say, these guys, so 1, 2, 3, and I can go into the move. So on the micro move here, I can move these a little bit early and set this to here, so that way we're going to kind of make the MIDI trigger a little bit beforehand. So now with this, we can pretty much put whatever we want to on here because it's almost like working with samples, but now we're working with MIDI. So if I want to, let me see what this guy is. Yeah, so I can maybe use this on a new channel here and set that there to the note. So there we go. And then if I wanted to, I can also copy this into other places as well in order to try to give this a little bit more groove. Now what I might also do is highlight this and set the move on here to be late. So let's see what that happens. We'll see what happens when we pin that up against each other. So maybe this one doesn't need to be so late. So that's pretty cool. Now what we can do is I'm going to go into the notes here and find that hi-hat. So that's D2. So now we can take this one and move this one a little bit late. So this one will be on time. And then I can grab this one and copy that onto this one. And then I can take this one and copy it onto this one. So really the only significance behind these is that each one on here is, so one is early, one is late. So I didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. Copy that there, copy that there. So now, and then we've been able to create a groove of the sort. So that's one way that you can use this to create drums and stuff, and I love that there's the micro movement. I talked to one of the devs at Polyend, and I'm hoping that we can kind of have a little bit more finer control with how much we micro move stuff. So if we can have finer increments instead of plus or minus 11, I think, because it goes, I don't know, something of the sort, I don't quite remember. Yeah, it goes either plus or minus up to 12, I think. So 11 and then 11. I don't know why that says that at 24, but we can only go and do one of those. But having micro movements would be really nice, or being able to push it even further. Smaller divisions, yeah. So there's that. Now, the other thing that's really cool is if we were to maybe pull up a synth or something, so I'll just pull up Phase Plant, is that this has a couple of interesting things that you can apply to this now. So if we go here and let's just pull up, I don't know, something that's kind of like keys, I guess. This is from a pack that I have on my website. Let's do Lovely Dreams. Yeah. So the thing with this that I want you to be mindful of is that there is a way to do a multi-out to where like it's controlling and sending different stuff to different channels. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I think that like what I tried to do was send a pattern or like send some notes down here into different USB channels or whatever, but that didn't work for me. So I just work with one instrument at a time. And if I were going to be doing the sequencing on the drums, then I would probably do that first, and then I would just record the MIDI, and then I would reset and do that over again. You don't have to do that, I just haven't figured it out. So if anybody has that, I encourage you to make a video of Bitwig, or if I figure it out, I will do so when the time is right. So with that, what we can do now is we can actually go and click on this guy and go into scales, and we can set something to a scale filter, which is kind of cool. So if I go to, I don't know, Phrygian and set this to, let's go C#, then whatever note I place this into is going to kind of fit within the confines of that scale. Now the other thing that's really cool is that you have, I need to figure out where it is. I don't quite remember which thing it is on here, but it might be the repeat, randomize, overdrive, chance. You can actually set stuff to chords on here. Oh, it's on the note. Wait, it's on the sample maybe? So it's on one of these guys. Chord, here it is. It's on sample start. So if I were to, you know, maybe say I'm gonna do kind of like a dotted rhythm chord on here, then what I can do is highlight all of these and I can change this into a chord. Now, as you can hear, this is activating the drum kit as well, and that's kind of one of the things that I was talking about, is we might want to turn that off so that way we're just focusing on the chord. But now that I have the chord, I can change this into, let's say, a minor or so, and then I can adjust the note. So what's really cool about this though is that I can change the note on here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's actually not too bad. It's pretty cool. Maybe we can change this into something a little bit less dramatic. So Now what we can also do is we can highlight this and set the track length to be 32. So what's really sick about this is now if I hold shift, you'll see that there's an extra step on this. So what I can do is I can select all of this and go copy, and then now what I'll do is I'll hold shift and go to this one and highlight this and go shift paste. I believe that should work. There we go. You got to hold a thing down. So now what we can do is we can change this last chord, and I can change it into something different. So I don't know. Let's figure out what that sounds like. So it's going to play this pattern first, and then it's going to play this one again. So and then maybe on this one, I might want to set the note on here to that F sharp. So you know, it's kind of cute, nothing too crazy, but it's nice that we've got these chords built into it now, and it does give me some extra value for what I'm using. It makes it definitely worthwhile because now I don't necessarily have to put samples in here. I can use this in addition to the DAW, and I'm so glad that they actually did this, even though I'm hoping that the workflow can improve a little bit. Just because it is a little bit cumbersome to work with, of picking this and then picking a note and stuff. It's just, it works. It's just kind of weird, and I'm not used to it per se. And obviously, like you can't change the labeling of the knobs and stuff, so I'm having to memorize what all these actually do. But with that, it's also sick because, you know, I can set some of these as individual notes as well. So if I change this to none, then I can change this to different pieces of the scale, so I can actually create interesting melodies here. So I didn't mean to do that, but I mean, I don't think that this is going to do anything cool per se, but okay, well, sometimes, you know, your musical instinct will allow you to create something that's maybe not cool, but also not too terribly cheesy. But, you know, that's some cool spacey keys that we can apply to that to create some kind of melodies and, again, sequence that. And again, I am just the kind of person that would try to get this into either like into the DAW as quickly as possible. I wouldn't just leave it as is. But as you can see, it's definitely a fully capable sequencer. And I think, honestly, the biggest thing that I appreciate about this in the first place is that we've got that micro move here. And this is something that I might use to, you know, sketch melodies or bass lines with as a whole in the first place. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get like the CC controls to work or anything, so I can't really get this to twist my basses and all that. But at the same time, you can definitely see how you can use this maybe while a drum loop is going or something to try to line this up and create something with that. And that's why it's really important for you to make sure that you have the MIDI sync set up, so that way whenever everything is playing, you can kind of like groove out with it on your own. Now, I will say that on Paulian Plays YouTube channel, Tavius, I might have mispronounced his name, I apologize if I did, has it set up to where they show you how to do like the multiple out things, but again, I couldn't get it to work. Right now it's sending to all the channels, but I think that that's on my part. I just can't really figure it out. But even still, you know, being able to play notes with this, and then of course what we also have is if I were to highlight this and then go into chants, then I can say, instead of playing the step, I can randomize the note, but it should stay within the scale. So maybe a 50% chance that we're going to have a variation on this note, and let's see what that sounds like. Right? My timing is off, but there is that, and that's pretty cool. And the other thing that we can also do for whatever reason is we can highlight maybe one of these guys here, and then we can go to fill. And what I would like to do, because I haven't set this up yet, is unfortunately, sorry, I have to scroll with this guy, is we're going to set this to random, or maybe let's go into a note, if that's on here. Yeah, so if you have stuff filled in here, then you can fill in those beats if you want to. So what that means is if there are templates built into this, like drum and bass or something, you can fill it with only kicks if you want to, or only snares or hi-hats, or chords or basses. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit random, and hopefully this is just going to plug in some values for me, so that way they can be random notes. And then what I can do is hit fill, and let's go into these guys here, and I am going to solo just these two guys. Sweet. So it at least put the data in, and now what we can do with this is we can randomize this. Instead of the filter CC, we're going to go into octave or so, or even randomize the note. I wish that there was actually notes built into this that we could randomize. I'm kind of confused as to why we can't do that, or as to whether or not there's something that I'm missing here. But we can do octaves at least, which could be cool. And then we can set the notes to, pretty much anything. Which is kind of cute. Now with this, we can also, again, send this into chance, I guess, which would be the note of random note of always and then a percentage. But I wonder if I play this, maybe I can turn the randomization off on here and then set this to 60% chance and then hit fill to randomize the notes. Let's try that again, just to see if it's different. So pretty cool. Now I'm not really sure how I'm bouncing back into this. Oh, it's at the random here. Okay. So if you hit fill, then it will say random and you can do the fill. If you hit chance on here, then it will randomize the note. So I think that you can hit, once this has a 20% chance or something, I think that you can just hit the fill and it will commit to that. Let me see if that will actually do that. So let me go back to this. Hit save. Maybe fill. And then if I were to stop this and go back to always. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about, is I'm not really sure how to kind of commit to that randomization here. I think that it would be a lot easier just to have this set to note and then be able to go save, so that way it'll commit to that. But as of now, I think that you can set a random chance on here, but I don't think that there's a way to commit to the random chance. So you have to go to random and then get something that's actually random in order for you to figure that out. So with that, I think that the new update is definitely welcome. It definitely breathes new life into this Groovebox if you already have it. For me, it does remedy a lot of the growing pains that you have with the Poly and Play, which unfortunately the Poly and Play did not ship with a whole lot of RAM. I've also been having this issue where, and I've never had it in the past, but now samples that I'm importing are super bit crushed, which I've looked online and they said that you have to have like 16-bit mono samples or whatever, but I've imported a bunch of my own samples into the DAW and haven't had a problem up until that point. So I'm kind of wondering what the heck happened, or if it is me, or I don't know. I'm not really sure, but maybe that's a new requirement now, but that's just something to be mindful of. So yeah, I don't know. I think that this is super cool. Let me know what you guys think and have some fun if you already have a Poly and Play with Bitwig, and let me know if you have any questions in getting things set up, because I finally got it figured out. Thanks so much. I would love it if you guys could like and subscribe to the video. Help me get that 20K and support me on the channel. Check out Aurora on my website. It's $20, so that can give you some new life for samples and stuff inside of the Poly and Play. Thanks everybody, really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one.